Hi, I'm Lindsay Trofe, co-founder and CEO of Immersed Games. Right now, only 22% of graduating high school seniors are proficient in science. And this is important because, of course, there's STEM jobs, but also important world challenges to solve. And we know that students learn, especially science, best through hands-on learning and problem solving. Not worksheets and lectures, but doing these types of in-depth experiences in the classroom every day is not exactly feasible. So that's actually where we come in. Our product, Taito Online, empowers students to do this sort of hands-on problem solving, but we use a video game to do it. So let me show you what that actually looks like. A student goes into the game world and does various quests and activities linked right to science standards. Here, she's collecting evidence to figure out if this is an invasive species, engaging in an authentic problem, including using that evidence to try to convince the scientists to transplant it out and save the ecosystem. They also do things like create their own ecosystems from scratch, learn ecology, or breed dragons to learn about genetics. So an important thing that you just saw to call out here is our argument builder. We've designed our gameplay in a way that what the students are actually doing and accomplishing is directly linked to the science and engineering practices that you want them to grow. So for example, engaging in argumentation from evidence is an important skill we're trying to teach students. And this really has our gameplay step aside from where most of the industry is in terms of how they think about game-based learning. Of course, we have a teacher dashboard, so teachers can assign content and get assessment data from the gameplay as well alongside that. The market timing is great right now, of course, because of this new next generation science standards that have been adopted over the last few years, but really practices are still kind of falling into place about how do we really think in these new ways, with these huge paradigm shifts that have paired this similar to how Common Core was for math. And this means we're moving away from textbooks, and there's not a lot of available materials that are truly three-dimensional in the sense that they're building those skills that educators want to build, and presents a really immense market opportunity. So on that note, we are focusing first on middle school students within the US for NGSS states. As we continue to grow, our TAM reaches about 6 billion, and this is of course set within a quickly growing game-based learning market, which is pretty much the fastest growing digital learning market right now. So let's talk a little bit about what we've done in our traction. The first thing we did is we took a small portion of our gameplay, creating ecosystems, and we actually launched that as a standalone game to test the market. This is sold to over 28,000 people, has a 43% upsell rate, and this was actually competing with non-educational games on Steam. This, for us, was proving out that we could make a fun educational game that people actually wanted to play. Since then, we've been working on developing out the full Taito Online platform for educators. And we've been lucky to have phase 1 grants last year from both the National Science Foundation and the Department of Education. Monday, we just got our official award for phase 2 on NSF. I'm waiting on Department of Ed as well. And of course, we've done some initial pilot studies as part of that have shown statistically significant improvements, not only in content knowledge, but also on science and engineering skills like analyzing data. And now we're ramping up and actually starting to sell to schools, which is really exciting for us. Our business model is simple here at just $10 a student a year, including all of our content. And of course, that's expected to result in a high lifetime value based on average ed tech industry churn rates. In terms of our go-to-market strategy, we've been focusing primarily on some of the traditional ones you'll see everywhere: conventions, content marketing, and through trainers. By this I mean organizations like educational service agencies that are interested in using us to really push the learning theory about how to use educational games forward because of how strong our learning theory is. I of course want to point out we were one of the top picks for learning from Common Sense Education in 2018. And then we also have this key channel over here with partner acquisition. We have built our systems with a content authoring suite backend and APIs so that we can hook in with other people. So we're having conversations to, say, get on zSpace's AR/VR platform or connect with other curriculum providers to make this an easier way to implement into the classroom, serve as a distribution channel for us, and support them with really strong game-based learning content that people need as well. So as we wrap up, I do want to make one more thing clear. We as human beings learn best through this type of hands-on learning, but of course that's not only for science. We're starting right now with this focus on middle school science and proving that out, but this can expand across many additional subjects and age groups in the future. Imagine, for example, walking into the 1800s to explore and find perspective for history. We've built, as I mentioned, this content authoring suite backend that we use to create our own content more quickly and efficiently. But we don't want to just be a content company forever. Our goal is to use that after we've really proving it out ourselves and allow other people to start building onto our platform in the future, opening us up to new verticals and revenue streams, and allowing us to reach our long-term goal of becoming a single video game platform where you can learn absolutely anything. Thank you.